Okay, I believe it's recording now. Okay. So can everybody see the work, and does anybody need it up for a few more seconds before I erase? Save to erase. Okay, I am moving on now to number 23. And 23 is x to the negative root 3 raised to the 4 root 3. Can you guys verify, is that the correct problem?
Mm-hmm.
Yes? Okay, now do you guys remember what to do when it's a power to a power? Do I multiply or do I add the two powers?
You add.
Multiply. When it's a power raised to a power, you multiply. So I have 4 times negative 1. Those are the two coefficients. That's negative 4. And then what's root 3 times root 3?
3.
3. So I have negative 4 times 3, because 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. Root 3 times root 3 is 3. So x to the negative 12, which becomes 1 over what? X to the 12th. Questions on 23?
Does our answer have to look exactly like that?
What other way would you have it?
Like keep it as x to the negative 12?
That would be wrong, only because on the worksheet it says express answers with positive exponents.
Okay.
So if it's specific on how it wants you to write it, then
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, I didn't see that.
it's okay. Okay, are we ready? Okay, I'm gonna leave that one up there since I have room. And the next one I'm going to do is 25. 25 is 2 1/4 raised to the 1/2. And in order to do this, I need my base, my 2 1/2, to be a fraction. And this one I did do in notes. I'll go ahead and finish it since I started it. I'm going to multiply 4 times 2 plus 1, and what does that give me? What over 4?
9/4.
9/4 raised to the 1/2. Is 1/2 the same as the square root? Yes, and so what's the square root of 9/4?
3/2.
3/2. And 3/2 is your final answer.
Ms. Torres,
Yes.
about our notes, are we going to send those as emails too, or what are we going to do with that?
I was going to wait on the notes until we got back, assuming we come back.
I don't think
So
we
you don't think we are? Yeah. I may have you just send them all in at one time, separate from the homework, then towards the end.
Okay.
Yeah, so I will be collecting. So you will be turning the notes in, whether it's to me when you see me again if we come back, or through pictures.
All right.
Okay.
Ms. Torres,
Yes.
so I didn't see the email that you said to turn in the notes, like to not turn in the notes for the past units, and I did.
That's okay.
Okay.
That's okay. The only reason I didn't is because I wanted you guys to keep them just in case. So if you want them back, I will hold on to them for you and you can come get them when we reopen.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Questions on 23 or 25 before I clear it all? Okay, I am clearing. And the last one I have is 27. Negative 27 raised to the 2/3. So remember, because it's not in parentheses, the negative goes on the outside. And I have 27 cube root power of 2. Now, you're going to do all of this and just take the opposite of it at the end. So that negative sign is going to come in at the very end. The cube root, what's the cube root of 27?
3.
And 3 squared?
9.
9. And that negative sign is pretty much the opposite of your final answer. So what's the opposite of 9? Negative 9. So negative 9's our final answer. Kids will say, oh, but when you square a negative, it's positive. Yes, but you're squaring positive 3, not negative 3. 3 times 3 is 9, and the opposite of 9 is negative 9.
When I did this problem, I put it as like the cube root of like negative 27, and I got 9i, and I squared that, and I got, I don't know.
Okay,
something else.
well, first off, you are not supposed to put the negative in there, but if you did you get the same answer?
No.
Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, I got 3i, and I squared that, I got negative 9.
Okay, here's why. The mistake was the cube root of negative 27 is not 3i, it's just negative 3. Because negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 is negative 27. There's no imaginary numbers or imaginaries with the cube root or fifth root or an odd root. So do you see that there's no I involved in this?
No, actually, yeah, I now see it.
Yeah, so if you did put the negative inside, you'd get this, which would then give you this, which would give you 9, which would be wrong. So you want to be careful. You just kind of like did a mistake that undid your first mistake, and so it worked out. But that was just another error. So don't do that because it's not going to work. Okay. Now, when would I do it this way if it was written like this? Then I would do it like this with the negative on the inside and square it and it's positive. Do you guys see the difference between what we did do and what I did on the side? Do you guys see the difference between the two?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Any other questions from lesson 12.1? If not, I'm gonna move on to lesson 12.2. So I'll give you guys a few more seconds to look.
This is Doris. So on mine, I didn't do a lot of work on it. I kind of just wrote the answers. Will I still get credit?
What do you mean?
Like on the front page, I didn't really write like work to show my answer. I just kind of wrote it down my way I find it.
I would have to see a little bit of work only because all the answers are given to you. So, I mean, there's some where no work is necessary, like number 1. I mean, I don't expect work there. So on the ones that don't need it, that's fine. Number 6, I could see as well if you didn't do any work, or number 8 or number 7. But, or yeah, once you get to the harder ones, I do want to see at least a little bit of work to back up your answer.
Okay.
Okay. Alrighty, any questions before I clear the screen? Okay, so last chance for 12.1. If not, I'm going on to 12.2. Okay, 12.2 questions. I am ready.
20 and 23.
20 and 23. Okay, any others?
6, 8, and 11.
6, 8, and 11.
9.
Okay. I have 6, 8, 9, 11, 20, and 23. Any others?
17.
17. Okay. And Garen, your 20 and 23 are there. I don't know if that was you that asked for them, but they're there. So those are the ones you had wanted, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All righty. Any others? You guys can throw more out if needed. Okay. I'm going to start off with number 6. 12.2 worksheet. 12.2, number 6. 3/4 raised to the x equals 16/9. And I did do this one in my video notes, so go back and watch. I will do it again now, but make sure you guys, are you guys watching those video notes? I'm not video notes, the homework questions that I put up?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to get them to have the same base. 3/4 to the x, I'm going to leave. And 16/9, the best I can do is 4/3 squared. It's not exactly the same base, but would you agree that 4/3 squared is indeed 16/9? Okay, so then I'm going to change the 4/3 to 3/4, which would make a negative exponent. Now that the bases are the same, and there's only one on each side, I can drop the bases, and x equals -2. All right, questions? All right, next one is number 8. And number 8 reads 8 to the 5x plus 2 equals 16. All right, in order to solve, I need to get them to be the same base. And some kids will say, well, I'm going to square 8. Two things. You can't just square something because you want to. Second, 8 squared is not 16. So we're going to have to get it down to a smaller base, and the smaller base being 2. Would everybody agree that 2 to the 4th power is 16?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 2 to what power is 8?
3.
3. Okay, so I'm not changing the way anything looks. I'm not changing the value of anything, just the way it looks. So 8 is 2/3, but it's still the same value. What do I do with a power to a power? I asked that earlier. I multiply, correct?
Yes.
And what would that give me? 2 to the 15x plus what?
6.
Equals 2 to the 4th. Do I now have it where they are the same base?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can drop the bases. 15x plus 6 equals 4. And you solve. All right, how would I solve that? Subtract the what?
6.
6, giving me 15x equals -2. Divide, what's my final answer? -2
2/15.
over 15. Got it? Questions? Okay, I am going to move on. Next one is number 9. Does anybody need this up a little bit longer before I clear the screen? Okay, I'm going to clear. Next, this is still 12-2. Next one is number 9. Number 9 is 3 to the x equals 27 to the x squared. And I want to get them to have the same base. What is the same base going to be?
3.
3. So I'm going to have 3 to the x equals, and what am I going to change the 27 to?
3 to the 3rd.
Okay, everybody agree that 3 cubed is 27, everything else is staying the same? And we talked about this earlier, a power to a power, you multiply. So that gives me 3 raised to the 3 times x squared, which is 3x squared. So not 3 raised to the x squared, it's 3 times x squared. Any questions so far? Okay, I can drop the bases. X equals 3x squared. How do I solve that?
Move the x to the other side.
Move the x to the other side is correct. And factor. It's not a trinomial guess and check, but it is a GCF. What's my GCF?
X.
Leaving behind 3x minus 1, and that gives you 2 solutions. 0 is one of the solutions. What's the other one?
1/3.
1/3. Question? No question? Okay, I'm going to move on to, yes, was there a question? Okay. Number 11, 2 to the x squared equals 8 raised to the 2x minus 3. All right, get them both to the same base. What's that same base going to be?
2.
2. So 2 to the x squared is going to stay. 8 is going to change. 2x minus 3 is going to stay the same. And what is 8 going to become? 2 to what power?
2 to the
2.
third.
2 to the third. And then a power to a power I multiply, which means I will have to distribute. And so I get 2 raised to the x squared equals 2 raised to what power?
6x minus 9.
6x minus 9 is correct. Drop the bases because I have exactly 1 and they are the same on each side. X squared equals 6x minus 9. Do you guys know how to finish that? What would you end up with? X squared
Minus 6x plus 9.
equals
0.
0, and then double bubble, factor, and solve. You guys can finish it from there. Do you want me to finish it or you guys have got it?
Got it.
Got it? Anyone else?
Could you finish it?
Can anybody tell me what it would factor to? It's going to be minus and minus.
3.
X
Would it be
minus
3?
squared.
Yeah.
So the quantity of x minus 3 squared, or I can write it like this because I am solving. What does x equal?
3.
X equals 3. Do I have to write the solution twice? I do not. This is the answer. X equals 3. Okay, questions before I clear?
Yeah, Ms. Torres.
Yes.
Since there is 2 3s, do you not have to do quantity squared on these units?
You can, but because I'm solving, I didn't. But you could write it as the quantity of x minus 3 squared equals 0, and then square root both sides. X minus 3 equals plus or minus 0, which is just 0. And then add the 3 and you still get 3. You could, I just didn't because I was solving.
All right, thank you.
Any others? Okay. Does anybody need it up a little bit longer before I clear? Okay. Next one I have is 17. Okay. All right, so I'm going to try to get these to be the same base. Now, I'm going to leave 2/3 to the x equals some fraction raised to some power. I don't know what the power is yet. So I'm going to do some side work over here and try to figure out what it is. Now, I know I'm going to use either 2/3 to a certain power or 3/2 to a certain power. because I'm going to try to get it to look like this. Now, if I chose 3/2, I can make my power negative. Or I could change I'm sorry, yeah, I can make this power here negative. So if I'm trying to get 3.375, any thoughts of whether I should use 2/3 or 3/2? It's bigger than 1, so what fraction is bigger than 1? 2/3 or 3/2?
3/2.
3/2. So 3/2 is the one I'm going to use, which means I'm going to change this one here to 3/2 raised to the negative x. Now, you don't have to change that one. You could do the one over here with the negative. It's your choice. I'm going to change that one. Okay. 3/2, I'm going to try some. 3/2 squared, 3/2 to the third, and see, we can even try 3/2 to the fourth. Okay. So what is 3/2 squared? That's 9 over 4. This is 27 over what? What's 2 to the third? 8. And 3 to the fourth is what? 81 over
16.
16. Do any of you guys have a calculator? If not, that's okay. I'm going to start plugging them in. 9 divided by 4 is 2.25. Is that the one I want to use? I
No.
want it to be this number right here. Is that the number I'm going to use? Nope. Let's try 27 divided by 3. I'm just plugging it in the calculator. And I set that wrong. That's 27 divided by 8. And I get 3.375. Is that the one I want to use?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not even going to do the 81 over 16. I found the one I needed. So what was that? 3/2 raised to the third power. So this equals 3/2 raised to the third. Same basis. Negative x equals 3. What does x equal?
-3.
Negative 3. That one was a good one. It was a little complicated, so I'll let you guys take a look, see if you have any questions.
Where can we find the recording?
Of this here,
Yeah.
this is my first time recording. So somebody said that the teachers just email it to the kids who want it. So I was going to email it to you if you wanted it.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay. Anybody need this up a little bit longer before I clear it? Okay, I am clearing. Next one I have is number 20. And 20 is 9 to the x over 2 equals 243. All right, what same base am I going to use here? Anyone? 9? Let's try 9. What's 9 squared?
81.
81, and then 9 to the third is 81 times 9, which is 729. That's way too big. So is 9 going to be the base I'm going to use?
No.
No. I'm going to have to get smaller. So what would be the next number down that I could use?
3.
3. So 3 to what power is 9?
2,
2, and 3 to what power is 243? Anybody know that?
5, I think.
3 to the 5th is correct. And there's no power out here, so I don't have to write that. Okay, I'm going to multiply 2 times x over 2. What does that give me, by the way? 2x over 2 is just what? Just x. So what does x equal, since the bases are the same?
5.
X equals 5. Questions on that one before I move on to 33? Okay, 23 is 2 to the x plus 2 to the negative x equals 2. All right. This looks like a substitution problem, so I'm going to rewrite it like this. 2 to the x plus 1 over 2 to the x equals 2. Would you guys agree that negative x makes it move to the bottom?
I love you, Ms. Torres.
Oh, I can't see it. Who is that?
Alexis Watts.
Oh, hey, how you doing? I have your little brother this year.
Oh no.
You can't see me, can you?
I can see you. You look
Okay.
cute.
Oh, thank you. It's nice
Okay,
to
I'll
meet
let you. I'll let you
guys
get
are
to
friends.
teaching.
Okay. Okay.
No, it's fine, it's fine.
All right. So what am I going to let you equal?
Two to the x.
2 to the x. All right. So I am going to end up with u plus 1 over u equals 2. Now, what would I multiply everything by to get the u out of the denominator?
Let's say everything
What would I
by
multiply everything by to
U.
clear the fraction?
U.
U. I'm going to multiply everything by a u, giving me u squared plus 1 equals 2u. Do you see what I did there? U times u is u squared. The u's reduce, leaving plus 1. And then 2 times u is 2u. So that gives me u squared minus 2u plus 1 equals 0. And how would I solve that? Double bubble?
Yeah.
And what does it factor to? Minus 1, would you guys agree?
Yes.
I solve them each. U equals 1, U equals 1. Do I have to write it twice?
No.
No. U equals 1, but we're not done because what was U to begin with?
2 to x.
So 2 to the x equals 1. Now, I talked about this in previous lessons. Does anybody remember what 2 to the x equals 1, how we solve that?
0.
0. 2 to the x equals 2 to the 0 power. Do you guys agree that 2 to the 0 power is indeed 1? Therefore, x is 0. Questions? All right, have you guys done worksheet 3?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
so let's go to worksheet 3.
Ms.
And-
Torres,
Yes.
we won't have tests, right? I hope so.
Like if we do not go back, no. If we do go back, I don't know what the test or final is going to look like.
We're not going back.
Yeah. Let's just say we're not going back. No tests and no finals.
How about, are we not gonna have a final?
Just work.
If we don't go back, no.
Yay.
All work.
One
You guys are happy, but seniors, aren't you sad?
about what?
Seniors, graduation.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I'm sad about that, but I'm going to college. I'm leaving, so.
Come on, you guys are prepared for this. 12
You
years.
guys are prepared for this. You should know these answers, kids.
Oh, goodness. Okay, 12-3 worksheet. Any questions from worksheet 3?
I haven't even got there yet.
None? You guys, or I'll give you a second to flip over. Ooh, the ones at the end, 19 through 33, are typically where the questions come in. And I did do numbers 1, 3, 4, 12, 15, 16, 18, 19, 25, 28, 29, 31, and 33 in video homework questions. So I did do quite a bit of them, but I will still leave it open for questions.
Did you do 5, 8, and 7?
5, 8, and 7?
Mhm.
All right, any others? No others, we're good? All right.
Did you do 6 and 16?
Yes, 6 and 16. So I have 5, 8, 7, 6, and 16. Okay, those are good. Okay, does anybody else need this up for a little bit longer before I clear it?
No, dude.
Okay, so I'm starting worksheet 3, and I am starting with number 5. Okay, number 5 is log base 64 of 1 over 32. Can anybody verify, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so what I said in notes is it's asking you to evaluate, not solve, but I put a little X there just to kind of get my brain, because what you're asking yourself without the X there, what you're asking yourself is 64 raised to what power is 1 over 32. That is the way that these logarithms work. So you're asking yourself 64 raised to what power is 1 over 32. So what I do is I put an X there so I can actually write down what I just said. And that would become 64 raised to what power equals 1 over 32. Now, we just did these earlier. We want to get them to have the same base. What's the same base going to be?
2.
2 is correct. So 2 to what power is 64? Anybody know that?
To the 6th.
2 to the 6th. And 2 to what power is 32? Not 1 over 32, just 32.
2 to the 5th.
2 to the 5th. So 2 to what power would be 1 over 32?
2 to the negative 5th.
2 to the negative 5th. Does everybody understand that? Power to a power, I multiply 2 raised to the 6x equals 2 to the negative 5th and solve. And I can drop the bases because there's one base on each side. They're exactly the same. So then you drop and solve. What do you get as your answer?
X equals -5 over 6.
Negative 5 over 6. Any questions on number 5? Okay, number 6 is the next one I have, and it's log base 3. I'm on the wrong one, sorry. Okay, number 6 is log base root 3. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Log base root 3 of 9. So again, there's no X there, but I am going to make an X so I can evaluate. Now over here, there is no X. Your answer is -5, 6. I'm just going to continue to put an X because that's how my brain processes it. Okay. Root 3 raised to what power?
3 raised
X.
to the x equals 9.
Equals 9. Root 3, because that's what you're asking yourself. Root 3 raised to what power is 9? Okay, what's the same base that I'm going to use?
3.
3. 9 is 3 to what power?
3 to the second power.
3 to the second power. And root 3 is 3 to what power?
3 to the half.
3 to the 1/2. And it's still being raised to the x. And a power to a power you multiply. So 3 to the 1/2 x equals 3 squared. Drop your bases. 1/2 x equals 2. Multiply, what does x equal?
4.
X equals 4. Good, good. Any questions? Okay. Anybody would like it up a little bit longer before I clear? We're good? Desi, did you color your hair? I like it. Okay, I am clearing. And this is still 12.3, and I'm now on number 7. And number 7 reads log base 1/2 of 16. So you're asking yourself, 1/2 raised to what power would give me 16? So even though there's no x because I'm evaluating, I'm going to change it and rewrite it. 1/2 raised to what power equals 16? I'm going to get them to the same base. What's my same base going to be?
2.
2.
2. And so it's 2 to what power gives me 1/2? 2 to the -1. 2 to what power is 16? 2 to the 4th. And I am going to simplify. 2 to the -1x because I multiply equals 2 to the 4th. They are the same, so I can drop. What does x equal?
-4.
-4 is correct. Questions? Okay, number 8 is log base 8. Now that I've done a few of them, is it making a little more sense for any of you? No? Yes?
Yeah.
Just a bit.
A little bit? Okay. So if I were to say, hey, do this one on your own, it's a test question, could you do it on your own?
Yeah.
Yeah? What would you do? Set it equal to what?
Set it equal to x.
X, and then do the wraparound. 8, not x. 8 to what power equals 1/4? What would your next step be? Get them to what? The same
Base.
base. All right, and what is the first one? 8 is what? 2 to what power?
2 to the 3rd.
And 1/4 is 2 to what power?
To the
Is
second.
2 to the
Negative
to the
second?
negative. I think it's
Okay.
2 to the -2, I believe. Oh
Okay.
yeah, it is.
So I have 2 to the 3x equals 2 to the -2. I can drop my bases. 3x equals -2. Divide, what does that give you? Negative
2/3.
2/3. Make sense? All right, and the last one I have is 16. Any questions here before I clear it? Okay, so we're still on 12.3, doing number 16. And number 16 reads log of x over y minus 2 times log of x cubed plus log of y to the negative 4th. And they're asking us on this one to write as one log and simplify if possible. Okay, first thing I am going to do is bring that 2 up as a power. I'm going to leave the negative there, just bring up the 2. Okay, so log of x over y minus log of x cubed raised to the 2nd power plus log of y raised to the negative 4th power. Okay, I'm going to clean this up. Log of x over y minus log of x cubed squared. I multiply the exponents. What does that give me? X to what power?
6.
To the 6th plus log of, I'm going to write this as 1 over y to the 4th. All right, these two I'm going to bring together as a fraction. Now, how you do that part is up to you. I like to write it as going straight to a multiplication problem because I know a fraction is multiplying by the reciprocal, but that can get confusing. So I will just do it the slightly longer way. Okay, x over y over 6 over 1. Do you guys see how I did that? Everything else stays the same. Plus log of 1 over y to the 4th. Okay, so what I did right here is I wrote it as a fraction, first part over the second part, and I did that because of the subtraction sign. So log of x over y times the reciprocal of 6 over 1, which is what? 1 over 6 plus log of 1 over y to the 4th, log of x over 6y plus log of 1 over y to the 4th. Now we're going to bring those together using addition, using multiplication or division. Anyone?
Wait, I think you did something wrong.
I think I did too. Okay, I'm going to go back to the beginning and I'm just going to check my work unless any of you guys see it already.
When you did log x over y minus log x to the 6th, and you put it like as when you divided it right here,
I
you
see.
forgot to put the x.
Thank you. So I am going to fix it. It's right here, correct? That should be to the 6th.
Well, the bottom part right here below it. The
And
red.
then like that. I'll fix the rest of it later, but yes, was that
Yeah.
the part?
Yeah.
Okay. Over 1, and then over here, what would it become? Thank you. Who was that? I couldn't. Was that Garen?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so what should that be? 1 over x to the 6th?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to change it here. Okay, whew, thank you. All right, I'm going to put a 1 there. And I might as well go ahead and clean that up before I combine it. Or we can just combine it and clean it up at the end. That's fine. Okay, so log of big fraction x over x to the 6 times y times 1 over y to the 4th. Okay, before I go any further, were there any questions on how I messed up earlier when I said it right, wrote it wrong, and everything else after was wrong? But since I fixed it, were there any questions? Okay, yes.
Oh, wait, Miss Joyce, have you guys done number 6? Because I had to do something.
For 12.3, I did. Do you want me to go back and do it again, or
Yeah,
just?
can you just show it really quick? I'll just
Yeah.
screenshot it.
Okay, let me finish this one off. Okay, so I'm going to combine here y1 and y4, and I'm going to subtract here. So log of 1 over x to the 5th, because 6 take away 1 is 5, and there's more at the bottom. And then y to the 5th, because 1 plus 4 is 5, and that there is my answer. Any questions on that one? Would anybody like it up a little bit longer before I erase? Okay. And Leilani, was that you that wanted to see number 6?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't put it back up because I erased it, but I can just redo it quickly. Okay, so those of you that watched it, what did we set it equal to? We set it equal to x, and then did the wraparound. Root 3 to what power is 9? Get them to have the same base. What's the base going to be?
3.
And 3 to what power is 9? 3
To the second.
second, and 3 to what power is root 3? The
1/2.
half, and we multiply 3 to the 1/2 x equals 3 squared. And because they have the same base and exactly 1 on each side, I drop the bases, leaving behind 1/2 x equals 2. Multiply both sides by 2. What does x equal?
So 4. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any others from worksheet 3? None from worksheet 3? None of the 19 through 33 section?
Can you do 32?
32?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to clear this. Okay, number 32. Log of 4 equals m, and log of 6 equals n. Find the following. Does anybody that watched the notes remember what I said? There was always a should know. Does anybody know what it is here? Log base, what's the base here that we're using that we don't see?
10.
10. So I'm going to use log base 10 of 10 equals
1.
1. If the bases were 7, I would have log base 7 of 7, or log base 8 of 8, whatever the base is that's being used. Okay. Number, was it 32 that somebody just asked for? Log of 160. Now, if you remember notes, I said you can use multiplication, division, or powers. How can I get 160 using 4, 6, 10? I can use any combination, 4 and or 6 and or 10.
10.
10 and what?
16.
Okay, so 16 times 10. Now, how can I get 16 to become 4 or 6? Log of
4 squared.
4 squared. Okay, does everybody agree that 4 squared is 16 and 16 times 10 is 120? I'm sorry, 160. Yes? Now,
Mhm.
why can we use 10? If we didn't write that should know down, we wouldn't know to use 10, but we can. So I am going to, now your choice. You can write it as 4 squared or you can write it as 4 times 4. It does not matter. Who asked for number 32?
I did.
Is that Taylor?
Yeah.
Taylor, would you like to leave it as 4 squared, see it worked out with the squared, or write it as 4 times 4? I'll leave it up to you.
Can we do the 4 squared?
Okay, so I'm going to use log law number 1 and rip it apart using addition. Now, a mistake kids make is they'll plug things in right away. They'll say, oh, 4 squared is m squared and 10 is 1. We do not do that. We have to use our log laws. So it's log of 4 squared plus log of 10. Do you guys agree the log laws allow us to rip it apart into 2 separate logs? Okay, and I want to do that because these are 3 separate logs up at the top. That's separate log, separate log, separate log. There's 3 separate logs, so I need to break them up. Now, nowhere do I have a log of 4 squared. I have a log of 4, but not a 4 squared, so that 2 has to come down. Kids will plug it in and say, oh, m squared. That is incorrect. You should not have any exponents in your final answer like that. It looks like this. And now we're ready to plug in. What is log of 4? M plus what is log of 10?
1.
1. So 2m plus 1 is your answer. Not m squared times 1 or m squared plus 1. It's 2m plus 1. That was a good one to go over. Any others from that section? No others? We're good? All right. Any questions then from worksheet 4?
Can you go over 15, 17, and 19?
15, 17, and 19 from worksheet 4?
Yeah.
I haven't posted the video questions for that section yet. I will be doing that when we hang up. And from that section, I will be doing 7, 12, 14, 17, 19, and 23. I'll repeat those. I'm going to do 7, 12, 14, 17, 19, and 23. Okay, I'll still take questions. 17, 19, I will be doing in the video section of it, but I'll still do them now. So I have 15, 17, 19. Any others?
What other ones were you doing?
I'll read them again. When I post the video in just a little bit, I would have done 7, 12, 14, 17, 19, and 23.
Could you go over 22 and 24?
All right, so I have 15, 17, 19, 22, 24. Any others? Okay. Anybody need this one up a little longer? I'm going to clear it all. Okay, starting off now with 12.4, number 15. Okay, 15 is log of x squared plus log of x equals 2. This one's a little tricky. I should have done this one in the video section. Okay, so let me show you. I am going to use u substitution only because I can see that, because right here, I typically don't see it this way. I would see it like this, log of x squared, where this has parentheses, log of x quantity squared. Those are 2 different things. The one up here, just the x is being squared. The one in the problem, the whole log of x is being squared. And since I'm not used to seeing it that way, I'm going to use u substitution. So I'm going to let u equal log of x. What would that function become? What would this equation become?
U squared plus u equals 2.
Everybody agree? Subtract the 2. U squared plus u minus 2 equals 0. And double bubble, what does that factor to? Anyone?
Positive 2 and negative 1.
Okay, so u equals -2, u equals 1. Let's plug our log back in. Log of what number is -2? And log of what number is 1? All right, do you guys know how to solve this? What's the
Take the base 10.
good? And I've talked to Notes about the wraparound, yes?
Yeah.
Have I talked to Notes? Do you guys remember hearing about the wraparound, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so what does this one become? 10 to what power? 10 to the negative second power is x, and the other one is 10 to the first power is x. What's 10 to the negative second power?
1/100.
Comma, 10 to the first power is 10. Questions? Okay. Next one is number 17. Anyone eat this up a little bit longer? Okay. Number 17 is log base 5 of 1/x minus 1/x plus 1 equals negative log base 5 of 30. If any of you guys can please verify that that is correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me 1 second to work the previous one out. What was the last one we just did? Was it 15?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. All right, so I want to do a few things. I'm going to bring that up for sure first. Now, here, it's up to you if you want to do this now or later. I'm going to do it now, condense it into one fraction. Now, by saying that, I don't mean condensing logs. I just mean rewriting it with a common denominator, okay? Because this is already written as a single log on each side, so I'm almost ready to drop. So I'm going to bring that up first. Log of 30 to the negative first power equals Now, technically here, I am ready to drop, but I'm just going to combine it as to a single fraction right now. Log base 5, what is my common denominator going to be? Anybody tell? Back to unit 1 of the school year. What is it going to be? X times what?
X plus 1.
X plus 1. What do I multiply the first fraction by?
X plus
Anybody?
1.
X plus 1 top and bottom. And what do 1 times X plus 1 is X plus 1. What do I multiply the second fraction by?
X.
X. And 1 times X is X, so minus X. All right. Now that there's a single log on each side, and they both have the same base, I'm going to drop the logs and combine like terms. X and negative X undo each other, so I'm left with 1 over X times X plus 1 equals 1 over 30. Do you guys see how I got 1 over 30?
Yeah.
And since I have a single fraction on each side, I'm just going to cross multiply. 30 times 1 is 30 equals X times X plus 1. And I want to solve, which means I'm going to distribute and get the 30 over. And now I can factor and solve. What would that factor and solve to? It's going to be plus minus or minus plus. Anybody have it?
It's positive 6 and negative 5.
Positive 6 and negative 5. Do you guys agree with Leilani? All right, so what are my two values for X? Negative 6 and positive 5. Now, I'm not going to do all the check work here because I did do it in the video, but you do have to check these answers because there's such thing as extraneous solutions where they don't work. Remember, you can't take log of a negative. So you're going to want to check like this piece. I know it got really messy really fast. I'm going to rewrite the problem here. Log base 5 of 1 over X minus 1 over X plus 1. This equals log base 5 of 30. This piece right here, anywhere there's a variable, that was in parentheses. This piece right here cannot come out to be a negative because you cannot do log base 5 of a negative number. So you plug in negative 6 and see if it comes out to be positive or negative, and then you plug in the positive 5 and you see if it comes out to be positive or negative. If it comes out to be negative, it's extraneous. You do not count that as an answer. If it comes out to be positive, it is a good answer. You keep it. Negative answers do not mean extraneous. Like negative answers can work and positive answers cannot work. It just depends on the problem. In this case, they do both work. That was a lot. Any questions on 17? Any questions on what I'm talking about with the check work? Okay. I'm going to clear. Anybody need it up a little bit longer? Okay, and what was that? Okay, next what I'm going to do is number 19. Log base 7 of X minus 1/2 log base 7 of 4 equals 1/2 log base 7 of 2x minus 3. And I want to bring my powers up and then condense to a single log on the left-hand side. Okay. log base 7 of x minus log base 7 of 4 to the 1/2 equals log base 7 of 2x minus 3 raised to the 1/2. Now, how would I condense the left side to a single log? Using multiplication or a fraction?
Fraction.
A fraction. X over, what's 4 raised to the 1/2 power?
2.
2 equals log base 7 of, that's the square root of 2x minus 3. Okay, 1 log on each side. They both have a base 7. Will I drop the log or wrap around? Drop the log or wrap around? Drop is correct. X over 2 equals the square root of 2x minus 3. What will I do to both sides to undo the
Square.
radical? Thank you. Square both sides. Giving me x squared over 4 equals, they undo each other, 2x minus 3. Multiply both sides by 4. What does that give you? X squared equals
8x minus 12.
And then you solve. X squared minus 8x plus 12 equals 0. Factor and solve. And what does it factor to?
X minus
Minus
2.
Minus 6.
Minus 2 minus 6. Okay, and what does that give me? X equals 2 comma 6. And then you check it anywhere there's an X. So let's see, where are my X's? I'm going to check it right here and right there. Those are where my X's are. That's an easy one to check without any writing. There, since they are both positive, would it work right here on the first log? Log base 7 of 2 and log base 7 of 6. Would it work if they're both positive?
Yeah.
Yes, let's check it here. 2 times 2 minus 3 and 2 times 6 minus 3. So if I plug in 2 times 2 minus 3 or 2 times 6 minus 3, are they both going to come out to be positive?
Yeah.
Yes. So 2 and 6 are my solutions. Questions there before I erase? Okay, I'm erasing. And next one I have is 22. ln of x minus 1/2 ln of 3 equals 1/2 ln of x plus 6. And asking us to solve. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is bring up these powers, kind of like we did on the previous one. So that gives me ln of x minus not ln, ln of 3 to the 1/2 power equals ln of x plus 6 to the 1/2 power. Okay, I'm going to combine these first two using multiplication or division.
Division.
Division. ln of x over the square root of 3. Would you guys agree the square root of 3 is equivalent to 3 to the 1/2?
Yes.
And this x plus 6 quantities to the 1/2 is the same as the square root of x plus 6. Drop the logs because there's exactly 1 on each side and they both have the same base. And what do I do to undo the squared? I'm sorry, to undo the square root. What do I do to both sides to undo the square root?
Square.
Square both sides. And that gives me x squared over 3, because root 3 squared is 3, equals x plus 6. Multiply both sides by 3, and what does that give you on the right-hand side?
3x plus 18.
3x plus 18, subtract. And I'll give you guys a few seconds to factor. It's going to be plus minus. All right, what does it factor to?
X plus 3, x minus 6.
All right, so what are my two solutions? 6 and negative 3.
3.
Plug it in anywhere you see an x. So I'm going to plug it in right here and right here. 6 plus 6 is positive. That's good. Negative 3 plus 6 is positive. That's good. Right here, which one's going to work? Which one's not going to work? Right here on this one. Which one's
Negative
not
3.
going to work? Which
Negative
one?
3.
Negative 3. It's extraneous solution. It works when I did the work, but it would not work if I plug it in, because you cannot take the log or ln of a negative number. So x equals 6 is the only solution. Now, we don't cross it out because it is negative, because sometimes the negative numbers work. Sometimes the positive numbers don't work. It just depends on the problem. Questions on 22? Any questions before I clear it? Okay, 24, I'm going to save 24, 2 reasons. It's in the notes, and 23 I do in the video question homework questions. So I do 23, which is like it, and 24 itself is in the notes. So any other questions from 12.4?
Nope.
All right, I will be back on Thursday, same time, same place, and I will go over any questions from 12.5 and 12.6. Got it?
Yep.
Okay, don't sign off just yet. I do have. Are you guys still there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I don't know how to share the video, so I'm going to try. If you want, how many of you guys want the video? A few of you? Okay, if you want the video, will you please just email me and I'll send it to you. So Mrs. Torres, I'd like the video and I'll send it to you. If I cannot figure out how to send it, I will post it on not my YouTube channel, but just the website.
Ms. Torres, you should just post it on the website so that people who didn't make the Zoom today can watch it.
See, I thought of that. Let me just find out, because I don't know if I'm allowed to, because it shows your guys' faces and like security issues, like, because then I'm putting you guys.
Yeah.
So I'll ask, and if they say yes, I'll do that. If not, then I'll just email it to people. Cool.
Wait, so it's just what we're like publishing the feed to those like who didn't watch the Zoom meeting.
So you're saying it's okay?
I mean, is that what you're trying to do?
Well, I was either going to send it to you guys. Hold on.